Yep.
Todd, thank you for taking the time to spend a few minutes talking to us about solving the profit puzzle.
Sure. My pleasure.
So how and why did you hire Solving the Profit Puzzle?
Well, we were looking for a fractional CFO that could help us not only with the financials, but with the experience to help scale our company. We've had a vision to grow big for a long time, and I knew that this was one of the bottlenecks to our growth. So we hired or engaged a third-party company who already does an extensive vetting process. They hire 1 in 50 of the candidates or less of the candidates they find and the resumes that they review. So they're really pulling the cream of the crop, the top 2% of potential financial gurus from North America with that extensive vetting. And we engaged them. They presented a couple candidates. We chose the best among them, which was you. That's how we got started.
Thank you. Well, it's been a blessing to work with you and your team. You guys are a real pleasure. What do you feel like we've accomplished together?
Well, it's a long list, but some of the highlights are that it used to take us days or weeks to close our books at the end of the month. So we didn't know, looking, in the rear view mirror at the end of the month, what happened last month? How did it go? What were our expenses and what was our profit and how did that end up? And it was a struggle. It was a painful process to get all the pieces together to close. Now we have set new records in the last 2 months of around 2 hours month before last, 2.5 hours last month to close our books to the penny on the first business day of the month. That's a huge accomplishment. That's fantastic. And in fact, another dimension of that is we figured out a way to, because we do recurring revenue, we figured out a way to forecast right in QuickBooks. We add in the expenses that we anticipate because we keep our books really simple, but we added in the expenses in our books to anticipate what the expenses would be. And because we do recurring revenue, we know pretty much what the income is. So really in the first week of the month, right after close is done, we've got a really clear idea of what the month is going to end up like within 5% roughly by the end of the month. Some things pop in during the month, but for the most part, we've projected that out. And so we know really well not only what happened last month at the end with a degree of certainty, but we know where we're going during the month as early as the first week in the month, which is also pretty phenomenal.
It's amazing.
Yeah, and also, it's fair to say I think we've significantly increased the strategic value of our company. So we've shifted more from, tactics and just running the business and into applying, those things that a fractional CFO would, or an expensive, high-paid, multi-six-figure CFO would do in a company to apply financial strategy, and how finances affect operations. And that's, I'll say this for you: you're a certified management accountant, not just a CPA. So this is one of the reasons we hired Solving the Profit Puzzle, because we were looking for someone who could do strategy, and that's what a certified management accountant does. The job is to know everything in the taxes and all the financial stuff and clean up financials and institute financial processes and accounting controls, but also how does that apply to the broader business, not just the finances.
Thank you very much. So what's been the impact of this on your life and on the business?
Well, we've cut our time and costs managing our accounting to maybe 20% of what they were before. 20% of that's a huge, massive cut, to the point that now our accounting team is so streamlined that they're helping out in our operations team and in our quality assurance team, because we write software. So our quality assurance team, when we have financial things, they have the free time to be called on to audit financial dimensions of our software. And then also, It's been a whole team effort, of course. You know, this is a whole team is bought in from the top down to continuous improvement, and you know, you've been a key part of that. But we're having record sales every month. Our profits have tripled since you started helping us out, tripled. And our company is now pretty much, it pretty much runs itself. I went from working 80 hours a week with a lot of stress and, you know, and so on, to now working about 10 hours a week in my company. A massive reduction in the time required. And that was partly your advocacy to, you know, that saying the companies are worth more when the owner's not required in the job. And that's kind of, I attend our weekly continuous improvement meetings, have a few minor responsibilities outside of those meetings, but that's pretty much how I run the whole company. The company and organization it runs itself at this point. So, and that means that I now spend more time with my family, and that's a really big deal.
That is a big deal. Well, thank you very much, Todd. It has been a huge pleasure and continues to be to work with you and your team. And I very much appreciate you taking a few minutes to talk to me about how well it's gone working together.
Sure,
So,
and it's been a blessing to work with you. Thank you very much, Perry.
Thank you. You too.
I'm happy to do this.
Thank you. Take care.
Thanks, man. Bye-bye.